chicas, ¿cómo están? Soy Marisela de Quilts by Marisela y estoy en el marco de el show de Quilters Unlimited of Northern Virginia en la ciudad de Chantilly, en Virginia. Y este es una entrevista fabulosa con Susan Carlson. Voy a poner un link de su trabajo, pero aquí está ella. This is Susan Carlson. Her work is amazing. It's all about collage quilts. I'm going to link to her work and to her page this interview. But this is our artist, and today I'm going to ask you, Susan, 3 questions that is going to take us through this interview. First one, what is your inspiration? What makes you do these amazing quilts? Susan, ¿qué te inspira? ¿Qué te hace crear estas obras de arte, estos quilts tan maravillosos?
My inspiration is probably color first. I love color, I love the feel of the fabric, and I wanted to do art that used those two things together. And so inspired by my mom and what she does with her fabric work, and then animals. I love animals. I like working the stories into something. So the stories, you know, different animals have different stories. People have stories. I like doing my family pets, animals that I read about, animals that are endangered or have some story to them, and then putting them into wonderful colors and the texture that the fabric has.
Lo que la inspira es, para empezar, su familia, el conocimiento que tiene por parte de su mamá, que también es alguien que le gusta todo lo relacionado con arte y con costura. La inspira el color, definitivamente, sus mascotas, es un amante de los animales, los peces, como este maravilloso quilt que tenemos detrás de ella, y básicamente eso es lo que la lleva a crear estas obras de arte. Now, technical question, Susan. What makes you select fabric? What makes you say this fabric can go to the quilt and this will not? ¿Qué te hace seleccionar tus telas? ¿Cómo decides qué tela va en un quilt y qué tela no va?
Much of that is the story that I like to put with these images. So if I'm telling a story about my son and I'm doing a portrait of him, it might be of the time of life. You know, how old is he? I did a portrait of him at 3 years old. I did another portrait at 13 years old. You know, very different fabric selection for those things. If I'm doing a portrait of an animal or a pet, there's something about that animal. We have one I did of a dog of ours. It's called a Dixie Dingo. So I selected Australian Aboriginal fabrics because of that dingo connection.
Lo que la inspira es la historia que hay detrás del quilt que está haciendo. Básicamente, cuando hace un quilt, por ejemplo, de su hijo, hizo un portrait, un retrato de su hijo cuando era pequeño, un retrato de su hijo 10 años después, la personalidad de él, qué le gusta, qué colores le gustan a él. Y en el caso específico del Dixie Dingo, que es un perro originario de Australia, lo que le inspiró para seleccionar sus telas fue precisamente eso, el origen de la mascota que estaba creando, y utilizó telas de origen australiano. Finally, Susan, what would you recommend to all our followers who are just starting, who are loving art quilts and are starting this journey, are starting to learn about this, and of course, like me, we are admiring your work? Susan, ¿qué le recomendarías a todas aquellas que están empezando esta maravillosa aventura de los quilts de arte y que, como yo, somos admiradoras tuyas?
Well, I think that anyone that's probably watching this or following you loves fabric. So we have all that in common, and you go with the fabric that you love. Maybe there's colors or texture that you really enjoy. And then for me, when I first started working this, I did work in portraits first, but then when I started really doing a lot of it, I switched over to fish, like what you see here. And fish or other sort of simple, kind of simpler subject matter is a great place to start, because I chose fish because they're very colorful and they are very pattern oriented, and you can find both color and pattern in your fabrics, and you can work with them as kind of a jumping off point, and it's a really nice way to kind of ease your way into the process.
Perfecto. Lo que dice es que, primero que nada, uses lo que te inspira, que tanto ella como nuestros seguidores como yo amamos las telas. Y escojan las telas que les gusten, empiecen por ellas y después busquen un tema, como por ejemplo los peces, que te permiten jugar con el color, jugar con los patrones, con las marcas que hay en la tela, con los diseños de las telas y ponerlas unificando un producto final. Susan, thank you very much. Again, I am super admirer. Congratulations, keep it going, and thank you for acceding to this interview. Gracias, Susan.
Yes.